Hey guys, welcome back to the Elle Diablo podcast. This is a great episode. I'm gonna take you guys through my entire weekend in Bloomington, Minnesota. We're gonna get all into it. It was fucking horrible, but what a time. I'm gonna talk about Taylor Swift's engagement. We're gonna talk about, my childhood a little bit, and a little bit about the Minnesota gay cheerleader. And I think there was something else, but I can't remember. So stay tuned and find out right now.
Elle Diablo Show. Elle Diablo.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Elle Diablo Show. What are you doing? What's up? I have a huge, ginormous headache. It just came on right as I was coming over here, you guys. What the heck? I'm being punished for being so productive. I took an Adderall. I will say I am probably the least prepared for a podcast episode of all time. Because why? Well, I had a full weekend in Bloomington, Minnesota, and then I got back, and then I just had a lot of shit to do. And so, yeah, so I didn't really, I like to try different things out, like sometimes I over prepare. I don't think I've ever not prepared at all. But maybe this is the best episode that will ever be. So maybe the key is to not prepare. I doubt it, but let's get to it. I was in Bloomington, Minnesota this weekend, and I've never been before, and I guess I can't speak for the whole city, but it was such a horrible weekend. It was so bad, and everyone was so fat there, and it's gonna sound like I'm fat phobic. I'm not afraid of fat people, and I don't care if you're fat. But when an entire city, okay, I don't know about the city, but so the club that I went to was attached to Mall of America. And so I would have to go into Mall of America every day. And when I tell you, I'm not every person was fat. Like, and not just like fat, like they were huge. The kids were huge. And I'm just like, it was very overwhelming. And because you're like, this is a huge problem, no pun intended. We need to start airdropping Ozempic immediately. These people are dying. It was a lot to take in. No pun intended, because there was, if there's a lot of anything, you're going to notice. If a whole mall had skinny people, you would notice. And would you get freaked out? I think you would question some things, like how good is the food in this mall? Maybe not that good. I think if you see all of one type of person, you're gonna I'm gonna notice a pattern. Okay. I'm not trying to be mean or, to fat people. I was just like, Jesus Christ. It was just stressing me out, because I'm like, am I going to get fat? Because I'm here and I just can't, you guys. I don't have the time. I don't have time to get fat, because then I don't. The thing with getting fat is it can happen so quickly, and then it takes so much effort to get it off. And so it's very scary. And yeah, I felt so bad for the kids. The kids were just like, I'm just picturing their futures of like sugar and, shortness of breath. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. And then you go outside the surrounding areas of Mall of America, space, man, like you've never seen it. And I'm like, did they make this space so people fit? Like, because I mean, the roads are triple the size. They're so wide, and there's just so much. The sidewalks are huge. Like, it's like it was made for them or something. But again, it's just a pattern I noticed. And I went to, so like Canada, I went to the same club. When I went to Canada, it was the same club that I was performing here, and except it was in Canada, and it was at their, like, Canada's Mall of America. Okay, that it was their version. And at their mall, their mall was way more filled than this mall, even though this mall was filled, way more filled. And I did notice patterns in the Canada mall, which was all the guys were ugly or fat, and all the women were beautiful and thin. And I don't understand that either, but that's just Canada. America, this was like a poster. This is like a postcard from America, whatever was going on inside this mall. It was just like the biggest people alive. It was scary. It was scary because I'm like, I can't believe people, that many people, they're just all on the same page. Like, we're just going to get fat as fuck and then die. It's, I mean, who knows? Who knows? They'll probably live forever. All I'm saying is whenever you see someone who's like 150 years old, they're never like huge. But I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to talk about my weekend. And so that was a big part of it. No pun intended. And then the shows were awful. Okay. And I did go like the day before. I got really sick the day before I was supposed to go, and I still went. Like it was just like a bad cold. And so I'm already feeling like horrible. And I go, and then honestly, the first show wasn't bad. The first show and the last show were the best shows. The 4 shows in between, I mean, bomb. It was so bad. And it was a little bit of me, a little bit of them. It was a mixed bag. It wasn't just not me. Usually I structure, every time I do my hour, I'll write new jokes. So you got to restructure your set. I wasn't really structuring my set well. And I think I was, and again, like these weren't my fans, these were just people who decided to come that weekend. And so I was a little bit too, even though I'm not even dark, like I'm like dark whimsy, if anything. A whimsical dark comedian, if anything, but not even that dark. But for Minnesotans, they're so nice and sweet and filled with sugar and cupcakes and burgers and French fries and steaks and ice cream and tiramisu and eggs and bacon and French toast and filled with all that stuff. And so they don't really like the dark stuff. But those shows weren't going great because I was doing the dark stuff too early and this and that, which is fine. And they weren't the best audience, but whatever. And then after one of the shows, and then this specific show, like it was a smaller audience, and I just like bombed for like 45 minutes. And it was so brutal. And then after the show, I try to rush out so I don't have to see any of them. And I get in the elevator because the escalators were broken. Because, I mean, if I had to guess, it was the weight of the patrons using the escalators. So I get it in the elevator, and it's a huge elevator. Okay, it's a huge, mall elevator. The doors close, and then right as they close, they open back up immediately, and the whole crowd is standing right in front of me. And then they all walk in. They all walk in silent. And then the doors close. We're all in together. I can't, it was like, if I had a gun, I would have used it. Like, it was so, and I'm like, you guys, I wanted to make a joke and be like, oh, so is just like being silent your thing or something? So well, I said nothing, and then I just got off. I got off at the first, I did one floor under so I could just like walk off. And yeah, that was painful. No one said anything. I mean, it was just shame. It was like, this is comedy. Like, this is what stand-up comedy is. And a lot of people will ask comedians like, oh, you're so brave for going up there, and like, what if you bomb? Bombing's not the worst part. The worst part is getting in an elevator with an audience full of the audience that you just bombed in front of. That's the worst. If I could choose, I would never be brave enough to choose that. That was horrible. But hey, the people who came to the first show and the last show, they liked it. So, and it affected me. I was sick, but I was in bed, and I think that played a part too. I was trying not to cough the whole time. I was trying to seem like with it when you're like all sick and you're like, no, I'm not sick. And you're like the most clearly sick person there is. So it was a bunch of that, and leaving. I was so excited to leave. I just, and then I am telling you right now, I don't have any problems with fat people. Like, I get back to New York, I see fat people, it doesn't do anything to me. I don't think about them. I don't worry about them. It's just when everyone in the line of sight is a walking whale, like, that's when I start to get worried. When it's a mixed bag, I don't care. That's life. It happens. You have kids, you let it go, you come back, you let it go, you come back, you get older, it's stress, but yeah, I'm happy to be back in New York, and we're back, and I took an Adderall today so I could focus and I could do things, and I'm spaced. I'm doing everything. I have a headache, I think, because of the Adderall, because I'm not drinking water. But I did work out, which was huge. It's so hard to work out, man. And then once you're there, you're like, this is so easy. And there's hot guys here minus, yeah, you forget there are hot guys at the gym, like really hot guys, like guys that you don't see in everyday life. And you're like, how do you even get this fit? I can't even believe it. Even there's a lot of fit people. I guess the gym would be the perfect place for me to go after that trip. A good palate cleanser. But I went, and there's this guy, he's actually a famous actor, and he's so creepy. And he's not like, he was big more in the 90s, 2000s, and then didn't do much, and now he's coming back. He's like starring in a movie, and he's been at my gym for the past 3 years, and he's the reason why I stopped going to my gym, because he would just he's much older. he's like in his 60s or something. And he kept on coming up to me like during, like, I don't like talking to people when I'm at the gym. Even if I see someone I know, I try to like signal to them to like not talk to me. Like I don't want to hang out. I don't want to have a conversation. I just want to go to the gym, do what I need to do, and leave as soon as possible because I don't want to be there. And you talking to me, you're keeping me here longer than I needed to be. And this guy, he was really creepy. At first, I was like, oh, you're this guy. So, like, I'll have a conversation with you. But then he would, like, DM me after, and he's like, I keep on scaring you when you're at the gym. I'm like, yeah, 100%. And he wouldn't stop. And then I stopped going to that gym. And then I started going to that gym again because I'm like, hey, I don't want to get fat. And it's the gym. It's the gym that I go to, you know, because it's one of the closest ones to my apartment. Anyways, he was there today. He's like in fucking shape because he's in a big, I'm trying not to give anything away. He's in a big movie and where you need to be fit. And so he's very fit now, but boy, is he creepier than ever. He does the same thing. He stays on one of the machines and then he waits for someone. And then when he sees that person being like a young hot girl, he just makes a beeline towards him. And oh my God, he like jumped off the, what's it called? The thing you run on? The treadmill. The treadmill. He was on the treadmill and he literally jumped off it to go talk to this hot brunette girl who looked like an Instagram model. I mean, she was very hot, but he's just like up to the same shit. And I'm so happy it's not me, but he eyes me and I like I'm like, you know, like I give him a hiss. I don't want him near me. So creepy guys at the gym, how to avoid them. I guess the best thing to do is just to say, hey, you're creeping me out. Cause I think that's a lot of guys' worst fear, even though they're still creeps, a lot of the time, but no guy wants to be called a creep. So if you say that, I bet he would leave you alone. And if he doesn't, I guess stop going to that gym, change gyms. I don't know. But yeah, Taylor Swift got engaged. God damn, finally. Jesus, I hope we can stop hearing about this, all of this, you know, her plight to find a man. It has to be over, right? No, I think now she's gonna, I don't know if you guys are Swifties. I'm not, and I've said this before. It's not that I'm not a Swiftie, but like she just has my memories of, you know, high school and middle school in a chokehold with her songs. So I just can't like discontinue her or discount her completely. But I do think she's going to write a couple albums because I was like, oh, she's married now. Like, what is she going to write songs about? But then as if you listen to Taylor Swift, you do know that she takes inspiration from, you know, what ifs and things like that, and even stories that aren't hers. Like if a friend had a story, sometimes she'll write a song about that. But I think she's going to write songs about like what would my life be if I never met my husband? That's going to be one album. And then the next album would be like, what would my life be if my husband was everything I wanted him to be, but nothing that he was? And then like another album is going to be like, what would my life be like if my husband like beat me? And then another album will be like, what would my life would be if you know, I married Matt Healy? And it's just going to go on and on and on, and it's never going to stop. And it's never going to stop. I feel like even after, I could see Taylor Swift, even after she dies, she's going to release an album. I think she would do that. And I want to stay alive for that moment. I don't want her to die, but I want to see if she actually does that, because it does, like, speaking out loud sounds like something she would do. And then I actually think she would record at least 2 more albums after she died. So like one, and because like no one would be expecting the death album, and then nobody would be expecting the death sequel album. And maybe maybe it's a trilogy. She kind of treats her music like books, you know. Maybe that's why she can write so much. I don't know. But congratulations, Taylor Swift. The diamond is huge. Now, how many people do you think died for that diamond? I don't know. Do people die for diamonds anymore? I remember the movie Blood Diamond. I don't know if it's like, if every diamond is a blood diamond, or if, why not? Could you Google how many diamonds are blood diamonds? Are all diamonds blood diamonds? Or is just, we got Tomas on the drums today. What percent of diamonds are blood diamonds? Oh, less than 0.02%. Is that a lie? Because I guess if every diamond was a blood diamond, no one would want the diamonds. People would secretly want the diamonds. Yeah, cool. Get married. It's the time. How old is Taylor Swift? I always think she's so much older than me, but I think she's like not that much older than me. 35 years old. Damn it. God damn it. This keeps on happening with me. I keep on like Googling ages of people that like I think are old. Like Google how old is Miley Cyrus? Like when I was a kid, I'm like, these kids are already in high school. 32. Fuck. She's okay. Technically we're the same age, but she's a year older than me. Technically, she's turning 33 this year. Damn it! I thought when you're watching Hannah Montana, you're not like, we are the same age. She always seemed older. Maybe because she was on a TV show. I keep on doing this thing where I think I know I'm 32, but I think I'm 30. Even though that's not a big age difference, but it's there's something in that, and I don't know what it is. It's like the vibe. I just feel like, yeah, I just got here. I'm still like young and stuff. Oh no. I think it's fine. I'm not afraid of age. I think people who are afraid of age are kind of silly. I think it's more like I want to have everything figured out by now, because apparently, allegedly, I'm 32. But yeah, being in the suburbs was nice. Okay, I will say that. In the suburbs. I mean, back in the Midwest, it was nice. And the Midwest is nice because the nostalgia, like the things that trigger your nostalgia are like very wholesome. It's like cut grass and, the smell of the wind, it's very Pocahontas, and it's very like the sounds, the cicadas, and it brings you back to childhood and playing night games and running around and having a fun time. And I feel, I don't think if you grow up in New York, you get the same feeling. Like I just imagine the nostalgia is just more, it's just not as good. Like I bet kids who grew up in New York smell dog piss, and then that reminds them of first grade because a lady was shot in the street the first day of school. And then there's a car alarm, and they're like, oh, the car alarms. And that reminds me of a homeless guy showing me his dick and that was the first dick I've ever seen. And then that reminds me of, someone spitting on me, and that reminds me of a cockroach. It's not as wholesome. So that's the one thing Midwest has on New York. New York has salads, which is nice. The Midwest. I mean, even when you go, and I hate to beat a dead horse, but even when you go, it's something that I've always hated about the Midwest. Just how unhealthy. I mean, the food is good. Okay, the food is good. Especially Chicago food, Portillo's, like all those restaurants. It's fantastic. But then after like 4 days, you're like, I would kill for a vegetable. And they're like, yeah, we don't really do that here though. And it stresses me out. But yeah, it's not easy to find a salad in the Midwest. Like a salad that's not covered in like bacon and sugar and fat and grease and but it's the Midwest, and that's what they do there. So it's, you got to accept the culture. Nowhere's perfect. That's for sure. What else is going on? I guess, let's see. I got back. And to be honest, I think I'm really in a good place in terms of like, I'm not dating anyone. I'm not obsessed anyone. And I joke and I tease about, guys that, I used to have like crushes on before and the fact that they're in love with me forever. I joke and I tease, but I really am. It's like, I'm over everything. I have nothing holding me down. I have no man ruining my life. It's fantastic, but it's incredibly boring. I'm so bored. I have nothing to like. I wish I could, harness all this toxic energy and like put it towards writing and something productive or like working out or any. And it's like, I just want to like do drugs and text people and call my exes. That's what really excites me is interpersonal chaos. And right now everything is peaceful. I think it's a form of procrastination, to be honest, because when those are all distractions when you at the end of the day, and for everybody, it's just a distraction. And so time to write a joke. I wanted to write it. I realized I didn't know, and I'm trying to, I don't know if it'll ever become a joke or not, but like I was a really lonely kid when I was a kid. Like not like lonely, I just didn't have any friends. And I couldn't make friends. I was like bullied a lot as a kid. And which was kind of weird because it was when I was in preschool and like first grade and like kindergarten. And it's just kids don't really know anything, but the kids were just like, yeah, we hate this bitch. Yeah, we don't like that. I don't know what, and then what did you do? I don't know. Like I think my name was dumb to them and they didn't like that. And then I don't know what happened. I couldn't connect. I didn't know how to connect. And then the first time I made a friend, and this is true, was September 11th, 2001. I'm not kidding. And I was in second grade and my family, they were getting their yard redone or something. We just moved into a house. We're getting the yard redone. And the landscaper had a daughter, and it's 9/11. So adults are freaking out. The kids don't know what's going on, but everyone thinks Chicago's going to be next. And so the landscaper is like, I have like other kids I need to pick up because my wife's gone. He asked my mom if he can pick up me and his daughter, who's my age. She says yes. I get in the car, and then my mom gets Kelly too. Her name's Kelly. And she gets in the car, and my mom says, hey, Kelly, you're going to have to come over to our house for a while. Your dad's doing our lawn, and, so you're going to have to hang out with Elle for a while. And I was so excited. I was like, this girl was being forced to hang out with me. It was my dream come true. And I knew like the pressure was on to, this is my one time I have an opportunity to really make a friend. And so I found a frog, and we started playing catch with the frog. And we played catch all day with this live frog, and we tortured this frog together. And that was like my first friend. It was 9/11, and we've been best friends ever since. And when you think about it, it was like our 9/11, but it was also like the frog's 9/11 too. It was a 9/11 for everybody. And but it was also the best day of my life because that was the first day I made a friend. 9/11 wasn't bad for everybody, just saying. But it was bad, but not as much as it tore people apart. It brought two second graders together. Kind of cool. And now she's an anesthesiologist, and she lives in Texas, and she has 2 kids, and I have 1 podcast. We're all successful. Okay. We're all successful. Yeah. But then actually she was a person everybody liked. So then I started to get friends because of her. That's all you need. If you don't have friends, you just need one popular friend who can like outsource friends and like bring you. And then she'll be like, they'll be like, oh, well, this person. I think that happens as adults too. I'm pretty much I'm not pretty much, I am an introvert, but I have friends who are social. And so they'll suck people in, and then I'm just there, and they're like, oh, Elle. And I'm like, yeah. And so I don't have to do really any of the work. It's all the extroverts who think they're just, having fun. They're really like my minions who bring me people. They bring me souls to feed off of. No, but I think that's a smart way to go about it if you're bad at making friends. Just make one really extroverted friend, and you're golden. And yeah, what are we doing this week? Just really bad comedy, I guess. What time are we at, by the way?
We are at
33 minutes. Hey, sometimes you show up and that's all you can do. I feel like this is, I want to make this a short and sweet podcast because that's what we got. I think, and I also, another tactic I tried, I was like, maybe if I don't think anything, because I usually have a lot of running thoughts all day, and I'll like talk out loud to myself. I'm like, I wonder if I consciously don't do any of that with myself and I save it all for the pod, like maybe everything will just fall out of me and then we'll get to have fun and stuff. Nothing's more fun to me than me in my apartment talking to myself. Like, I think if that could be a podcast, that would be fantastic, but it could never be a podcast because whenever a camera's on me, I feel different. You know what I'm saying? But one day, maybe I think, maybe I won't feel different. Maybe I'll love, yeah, I can't even believe OnlyFans girls, no offense. It's not even like, it's not even about being on camera naked. It's like seducing a camera, like being sexually, you have to like be sexually attracted to a camera kind of. And I don't know how, yo no sé how you get so comfortable with the camera. I do think Gen Z has a let's see if we can say this word. Familiarity. Is that familiar? No? How do you say it? Familiarity. I still don't know if I said it. But I feel like Gen Z has a familiarity with the camera in a way that millennials and above and beyond will never. Even if we, become comfortable with the camera, I don't know if we'll ever be as comfortable as someone who is Gen Z and below, or just like, people who grew up with the camera. They're like, oh, camera's my friend, or it just, because that's what they know. That's, camera's my nanny. Honestly, I don't know. I think Gen Z and I think the younger generations, I'm broken from just having too much access to Instagram. That's one thing. I'm so on my phone. I need to be so off my phone. And that is what takes all my ideas and all my thoughts away. I can't imagine like growing up with it. I think I saw a video of these like little British girls, and they're like, I don't have a phone. I've never done screens. I don't have a screen at home. I think it's very bizarre. And I'm like, that's so cool. How do you stay off of it? How do you have no interest as a little kid? I think the phone is just as bad as like fast food. But I'm so addicted. It's the thing I'm addicted to. I know I'm addicted because I'll hold my phone, and whenever I hold my phone, I'll realize I'm holding my phone like right to my face, like inches in front of my face, and then I'll like be like, oh Jesus Christ, how close can you get? It's very embarrassing. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention while I was in Minnesota, I was thinking about they had that gay cheerleader, which I'm very taken aback by the whole this is a note I'll end on, but I'm very taken aback by the whole uproar about there's like this little twink that's like a cheerleader. Men have always been cheerleaders, okay? That's always been a thing. But this little twink on the Minnesota Vikings, he really hits his mark, okay? And people are upset, and they're saying that he's making football gay, which is not true because it's always been gay. I mean, men tackling each other. It's not, this isn't a unique take. It's gay. But I think the issue is not that he's a twink. I think it's that he's not muscular. I think if the cheerleader was muscular, I don't think men would have a problem with it. I don't think the football fans would have a problem with it. I think the biggest problem right now is that bottoms aren't attracted to other bottoms. And so they don't like the twink. And it's like, okay, well, maybe they have to throw in, a thick boy for the fans. And on that note, that was this podcast, and I hope you have a good day, and you rock, buddy. Fuck all your haters. You know what I'm saying? All right. Have a fantastic weekend. Bye, guys.
Elle Diablo Show. Elle Diablo.